All right, we're back. It's Monday. Is FIFA doing what they can for Messi? Did Conor McGregor just take the bag and run? Skubal, is he done in Detroit? The NFL preseason rankings are in. I know it's early, but we got to talk about it. Fred, what's up, my buddy?
Excuse me. Yeah, just chilling out here, waiting for the marine layer to burn off, so the sun comes
Always the
back up.
Marine layer. I'm going to hit you right away. We're going to start right away. I'm going to hit you with some questions I got for you. Strictly yes, no answers. I'm just gut, see what you have. All right. I'm going to roll with it right out the gate. Will Myles Garrett have more than 20 sacks this year with the Rams?
No.
Will Aaron Rodgers make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Will Matt Stafford win another Super Bowl this year?
No.
Will Boston win the AL East?
No.
Will the Lions win the NFC North?
No.
Will Caleb Williams be a top 10 quarterback after this year?
How do you judge that?
Uh, let's go with stats. Not necessarily wins, just overall stats. Top 10
Like
in stats, overall
RP,
stats.
like rating,
Yeah,
QB rating,
yeah,
top 10 overall or in the NFC?
overall.
No.
Right. Do you like how I threw that Boston one in there?
Yeah, it's silly.
But I thought it was interesting. There's a lot of buzz here with the NFL. I know it's early. We're going to talk about that, but obviously, first and foremost is World Cup. Obviously, it's the hottest thing going on right now. We're in the Final Four.
Yeah,
I don't think
fine.
there's any. I don't think there's any surprises. I mean, basically, we're ranked 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? This is the first time in the last couple World Cups that the top four ranked, pre-ranked teams are in there.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean
th-
it.
Thoughts on this weekend?
I think it's Spain, Argentina. Uh and that's what I would be hoping for as well. I had Spain over Colombia in the final, and Colombia ended up losing to the Swiss in penalty kicks, and then the Swiss lost to Argentina. So like I could have been right there, like, like if that Colombia game went my way. But yeah, I would like to see Spain and Argentina, and then I think Spain takes it. I don't think Argentina wins back to back, but like if they did, it would be cool. There's a lot of bullshit about like does FIFA, script everything and want Messi to win and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I think everyone wants Messi to win. To be honest, not
Right.
scripting wise. I just mean in general. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's really um I don't know, man. I FIFA
I,
is so fucked up anyway. So like
for sure.
it wouldn't surprise me. Um, nothing that FIFA did would surprise me, but like because I feel like they're a corrupt organization. I think that like out in it's just anything goes with them. So like it wouldn't surprise me if they were trying to fix. But I don't know. I don't see it. Like,
I don't see it either. I mean, there was
huh,
some controversial stuff. I mean, outside of the Messi situation, obviously in the Norway England game, which was a really good game. Actually,
yeah,
my one of my good friends actually went down to Florida to watch the game. He's an England fan. They basically just tagged on Facebook like, this is a bucket list trip for me. And I texted him later that evening and I said, what were your thoughts? And now this is somebody who's pretty cultured when it comes to going to big sporting events outside of maybe attending a Super Bowl. And obviously big sports guy said by far the best experience, the best atmosphere in any sporting event he's ever been to. Like which I thought was I kind of assumed that was coming, but he just said, I mean, there was no like issues there, even though the rivalry was huge, but just the experience overall was insane. Now it comes down to they did not on England's second goal. Apparently the ball hit the camera. It wasn't dead. I mean, it's those types of things, and every game has something. The Argentina Switzerland game, the second yellow card was, the phantom flop, we'll call it. I don't know. I'm struggling with this whole red card situation and having to sit out the next game. Obviously, the Bannigan thing went the way we wanted it to. The game didn't. Thoughts on some of these controversial calls this weekend with the
Yeah.
with the yellow card, playing down, and do you think that they should always play down? What about like
No.
hockey, where it's like
Well,
a certain amount of
so
time?
like,
Like,
I mean, I always like try to compare it to other things, and it's like I was speaking to somebody about this, and I'm like, when it comes to fouls and calling fouls, the amount of shit that the NBA gets. Now you're watching the
good point.
World Cup, like it, it could be worse than the NBA. Like it's
As far as flopping is concerned,
not even flopping, just the bullshit calls. It's just like, let everything go. You touch a guy, he rolls around. I mean, you call it that, not the actual dives or flops and stuff. Just everything is soft. Like, and the NBA gets so much trash talk about the NBA being soft. And listen, is the NBA the same as when we grew up? No, it's not. It
no.
is, but is football the same as when we grew up? No. So
Mm-mm.
is baseball the same? You can't even slide and take a guy out anymore at second base, breaking up a double play. So like things have, changed for the benefit of the health of the player and all that stuff. But like when you watch these soccer games, it is I think it's worse than the NBA.
So you think that nothing's really changed in regards to soccer?
It has
Like
changed. I
you're
think it's
saying,
gotten
uh,
softer from
softer. Okay.
15, 20 years ago. But like when you think of like I know it's a different sport, but when you think of a guy who's playing safety in the NFL, comes up and totally decapitates a dude, right?
Right.
Crown first. He can like you're gonna compare that as kicking someone out of the game, then stepping on the back of someone's ankle. Like, I mean, and in the NFL, they don't play a man down. Like
Right.
I understand what the rules are, and I get it, and that's the rules. Now, do I agree with the rules? Not really. Like, I hate penalty kicks. I think it's the dumbest thing in the whole in all of sports to win any kind of knockout playoff game on a specialty thing is silly. To go into the Stanley Cup and be tied after one overtime and then have a shootout, that's dumb. Like, like in the NBA, you're gonna have a dunk contest. Like anything to decide a
Oh yeah.
game
Well,
rather
let
than
me. Okay. So
penalty
this
kick.
brings
Like you're
so
like
that
and I don't mind the NHL doing it during the season because, like back listen, I'm a traditionalist. I would be okay with, 10 minutes or a 5-minute period of full 5-on-5 and ties. Like I'm okay with that. Like in hockey. Um, like baseball, terrible, guy on second base. So dumb. Like the
nah,
so
I know
corny.
you. I know you've advocated.
And
You have been from day one. So you were against that. But let me ask this: like, so like for example, in the Argentina Switzerland game, they played down. Okay, and the announcer even said the only hope that Switzerland
yeah,
has to be in this game is to get to the penalty kicks.
of course. So like
Right.
you play back. Listen, Italy, Italy is infamous for playing for 0-0, playing for 1-1. Like that was their thing. They score a goal and they play 9 guys back and they just hope to win 1-0 or go to kicks. Like I don't know. I just feel like deciding a World Cup game on penalty kicks is mind-boggling.
Well,
Now,
they do give them 30 minutes to
but
figure it out.
so what though? So
Okay.
change.
All right. So hold on. So let me ask this question. FIFA calls you Fred Bruno, and they say, Fred, FIFA here. how do we determine these games if we don't have a shootout? What do you say to him?
Change the substitution rules because they're limited, and you play until somebody scores a fucking goal like a normal fucking game would do. Like, like, I understand they go 45-45, which and now they have these, like, fucking ad breaks and who wants a fucking water bottle and stuff, which is
Orange
crazy.
slices.
So then they do 10 and 10, right? They do 10 and 10. Okay, but let's not do 10 and 10. And then do golden goal. So, like, they don't do golden goal either. So golden goal is next to score wins. That's it. Like, not like the 10 minutes you have. If one team scores, the other team still has a chance to score within that time frame. You go to golden goal where after the it's if you want to do 10 and 10, I'm okay with that. But after that, you do golden goal. Like, next team that scores wins. Game over. It's over. Now,
So you
I know
so
they
you
have
said what do you mean 10 and 10? I guess you lost me there.
so like extra time, they do like 10 minutes,
Okay. Okay.
right?
So the way it's set up, the way it's set up right now, I thought it was 30 minutes of overtime.
Or so 15 and 15.
15 and 15. Okay. So, and then after that, then you say, let's go to golden goal and let it run however long it
Yes, but
takes.
and change the substitution rules because I believe there's like a limited substitution. And I'm not even mad at re-entry. Like, let guys re-enter. Who
Yeah, I
cares?
don't. I always thought that was really weird that you can't go back into
But
the game, which
you can only re-enter in extra time. Like, you can't come back in the same game. You can't just rest a dude in the first half and then bring him back in the second half. But you can change the substitution rules. Let's have guys score goals to win the game instead of
what
the
do you
penalty
think the
kick.
reason? What do you think the reasoning behind that rule was at whenever it was started? Like you can't re-enter the game. What's the
It's
reasoning
just,
behind that? I
it's
guess
just,
I
Brett,
don't
that's just the soccer. That's ruled soccer.
just ruling.
there,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, it is what it is. And it's like, sometimes it can kick them in the ass because, they take a guy out too early. But like, I
Well,
just
it's from a
like penalty
coaching
kicks is
standpoint.
just,
That is
and Italy has won World Cups on penalty kicks. I'm, a,
you know,
and I still think it's dumb. Like,
I can get down with what you're saying that you don't feel the game should be determined on that, especially a World Cup game at the stage at which it is. But I do think that the penalty kicks are exciting. They're very
yes, of
cool. They're
course.
fun to
So,
watch.
so our
But
dunk
from the
contest.
standpoint, exactly right. Good point. That's a great point because it's like, but is it going to come down to one kick from one guy who may have not even played much in the game or whatever the case may be?
But like,
But
you're literally having a free throw contest almost. Like,
yeah.
that's the conversion rate of penalty kicks. I think it's like around, so like that's what you do after a couple overtimes in the NBA. You send a bunch of guys to the foul line.
When you
What?
break it down like that, it sounds ridiculous, to be honest with you. It really
So,
does.
but those are the rules, and it is what it is. But
Yeah.
you can play into that too. Like you said, you can also play into penalty kicks if you feel that you have the advantage in that little area of the game.
Right. Right. Yeah, like exactly what I was telling you about especially when
Yeah.
you're playing down, you got, obviously Switzerland got the second yellow card. They play down. Now it's just like, hey, let's just play insane defense.
Yeah.
Get to that part of the game. But I don't know. I hate the idea of playing down. I think it's a stupid rule. I think that maybe like I could get down with the way hockey does it, where it's like a 3-minute or a
You can do
4-minute or
that.
something like that. But to like completely take the whole team at a disadvantage to play down is stupid. I think a whole game suspension after the red card is ridiculous. Like,
It's crazy.
unless it's
Listen,
like absolutely
unless you kill a
egregious.
guy. If you
Yeah,
And I'm being
def.
honest. you literally kill someone on the pitch. Now, totally understandable. But, like, a cleat up, this and that, I mean, like, guys, these guys are playing at the highest stage and the highest competition, and with the World Cup is bigger than any other competition they've ever been in. Bigger than
Mhm.
the Olympics. It just is, right? It's just the highest of competition and the most prized possession, right? And, like,
Yeah.
to go out like that and kick a guy out of the game and the next game for stepping on the back of a calf or something like that. Listen, accidental, obviously, I think.
Yes,
Like,
for sure.
let's get into the intent. Like, if he was intending to injure, I could probably sway your way, but, like, the intent wasn't there. Is it unfortunate? Yeah, of course it's unfortunate. Things happen that are
Mhm.
unfortunate, you know, but to take a guy out of the next game is crazy,
Yeah,
and then to throw on top of that, that the game's gonna end on a free throw contest, I mean, it's just it that that
totally.
that whole thing is just crazy.
I was watching
But
the,
it's been a
Argentina
great World
Switzerland.
Cup.
It's been a phenomenal World Cup, and let me piggyback on that because I had mentioned this on Saturday night when we were watching the Argentina-Switzerland game. Obviously, it got pretty late here, on the East Coast time when we were watching the game, and I looked over at Sarah and I said, "I don't understand why this is so fun. I don't understand why it's every 4 years. I could get
Yeah,
down with every other, like, but
yeah,
every 4 years is, like, a
I
long time to wait."
yeah. Well, you have the World Cup, and then you have the Olympics in between, um, right? So it's like 2028, you'll have soccer again in the
Yeah.
Olympics, um, and then 2030, you'll have the World Cup
Oh,
again.
yeah,
You
that's a
all
good point. That's a good
and
point.
you also have the women the next year. But I
Yeah.
think the one reason is the qualifying is, like, takes forever.
Mhm.
It's
That makes sense. Now,
like the
I think I heard this and maybe I misunderstood, but I'll just double check with you. Is the World Cup in Argentina in 4 years?
that I am not sure.
I think it is, and so one of the announcers had hinted towards the fact that I know everyone's saying that this could be Messi's last World Cup, but if it's in Argentina, will he come back in 4 years? Now, this would bring him to the age of, like, 41, 42. Like, do you
I
think it's
mean,
even possible?
I think it is. The way he's playing does not look like he needs to retire.
He's just so smart. He's so
Yeah,
smart.
he's way ahead of everybody else. His I
Yeah,
his soccer IQ is so far
phenomenal.
up
It
there.
is
He
for yeah.
also hasn't really lost a step.
I
Yeah,
I wouldn't it's hard to say if he's lost a step because I think that he's just has smarter
he
steps, if that
anticipates.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yes, fair, fair. But yeah, so it'll be interesting this week. Obviously, we have what is it, Tuesday and Wednesday, both of these games, so Tuesday, Wednesday, France, Spain, England, Argentina. I'd like to see Argentina in the final. But I'm with you. I'd like to see somebody different win, maybe France or Spain, but we'll see. Um, moving on, MLB, the long and waited, much needed in New York, I would say, All-Star break. The buzz obviously around here in Detroit is the whole Skubal situation. He wrapped up his day yesterday to a standing ovation. Seemed like everyone kind of was in the same boat here saying like, yeah, I think this might be the last one. Um, I've been saying from day one that I hope he gets traded. I hope we can fill a bunch of holes, create more depth with moving him because I could see us at the end of the season just completely losing him. I already know how this is going to go, Fred. This team is caught hot here in June, and they think they have a chance, and they're going to hang on to him. We need to get rid of him. but I know how Detroit teams operate, that sliver of hope, and I think they're gonna hang on to him, and we're gonna completely get nothing for him. They are gonna botch this drastically. What's your thought?
I think they hang on to him. Like, I don't know if, like, that's a bad thing to hang on to him. I mean, like, to have somebody run out their contract, uh, is not a bad
Well,
thing,
go ahead,
and one of the
finish.
best pitchers in baseball, to make a run, if you're gonna make a run, I want Skubal on the mound in a playoff game. They're 2.5 out of the playoffs right now, or the wild card right now. Um, Not sure that they're catch up in the division, um, because they would because it seems like Cleveland and the White Sox are, like, tied up top. They're, like, 6 games up. They're both playing pretty well, but they can get a wild card. They're 2.5 games out of the wild card. I mean, what more did you want? I mean, this is what they talked about at the beginning of the season. If we have a chance, we're gonna go for the run. I mean, they said that in March, really.
Is
Um,
the chance is it the chance to win the division, or is the chance I'm talking about what they talked about at the beginning of the season when you said with chance what? Chance to win the division or chance to
just to
just
make
make the
the playoffs.
playoffs?
I think just to make the playoff. I mean, like, making the playoffs is big. So
Okay,
and
so let's play this scenario out. Okay, we come hot in June. This All-Star break. We hang on to Skubal. We do the same. We make the playoffs. We lose in the first round. Maybe we win in the first round. We go to the second round. Season ends. Okay, and now we don't want to pay for him. So now he's up for whatever, and we get nothing for him. How is that beneficial for this city? How
I
is
mean,
that beneficial?
so then with that logic, you would just get rid of you would trade every player in their last in their in their, in their contract year? Every single good
Mm,
player you would just trade away every time
well, I think what
until
you have
you
to
think you have the recipe to what? Win 2 series in the playoffs?
I just think it's unrealistic to think that we could win the World Series if we hang on to Skubal. Now, I
Oh,
think that you're
do you
taking it
trade
to
away
like an
Riley Green?
extreme. Well, hold on. I think you're taking it to an extreme when you say, "Oh, you do trade every player." I think
Well,
every situation is different.
but if you're gonna if that's your mentality that I don't think we're gonna win the World Series, so I'm gonna trade away our best asset to get something back. I understand, and it's a business, so, like, we all know that,
Right.
a that's probably what they're thinking as well. Cut money and be mediocre again. Like, is that I don't know if that's better. Like,
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know
if
because you're starting to you're starting to give me that like okay maybe I'm overthinking like maybe I'm not putting enough faith in this
I mean,
team
you
with
signed the
him
guy
at the helm.
you signed the guy through this year. I don't think that when you sign the best pitcher in baseball, you sign him with the premeditated notion that in the last year of his contract, we're gonna get rid of him and get a bunch of guys back. Like,
Well, that's a pretty tough way to put it because you don't
but
know how it's going to
that's the
play out. But
mentality that is going that's basically the mentality that everyone's thinking about, like, "Well, we can get a bunch of guys from." Okay, well, you can also hear me out.
I know where you're going, but go ahead, finish it out.
You can also sign him.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say you can also just spend more money around the board.
Well, what I'm saying is, at the end of the season, you can also sign him if he's, like, so instead of let's play Moneyball, which I mean, it does work at times, but like, you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, but like, fucking dig in your pockets. You love the guy. The city loves the guy. Pay the fucking dude then. Like, like you wanna be a contender. You wanna be like, oh well, like you're trying to win with in a money ball situation. That's what it comes down to. And then people get mad that I say, well, Detroit's a small market, mid market. Well, that's how you're playing.
Yeah,
That's your business
100%.
model.
I
So
don't think the
if you
Moneyball
wanna be a big
situation.
if you wanna jump into the big markets and be that big market team, sign fucking Skubal. Like, pick up another bat. Like, like, instead of, well, you know, listen, two and a half games out of the playoffs, I'm fucking going full force, full bore, man. Like, making the playoffs is huge. I don't care if you get knocked out in the first round. It's better than not making the playoffs. Like, making the playoffs creates a buzz in the city. So, like, they make the playoffs last year. Now you make the playoffs again. Like, like that is something to
It's
build
a momentum to build on.
because,
Fair.
to be honest,
I got you.
the momentum of the Lions is going downward. It was way up,
Well,
right?
I,
It
yeah,
it was
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, there is 0 momentum with the Wings. I'm talking about the town,
for sure.
like,
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I got you. I can
0
get down with it.
momentum with the Wings. The Pistons went from worst to first, and people got mad because they got knocked out of the playoff. They won their first playoff series in 10 years or something. Like,
Okay.
like, so, like, there is some hype with the Pistons now. Okay. Lions
Yep.
hopefully will be rebounding. Like, I mean, the Tigers making the playoffs, like, it's a good thing. It's
Fair.
good for the city. It's good
Fair.
for the fan base. Like, I don't think you can say, well, we'll make the playoffs and
Oh,
maybe we win a
okay.
series.
Okay, I can get down with that. I think you sold me on the fact that we would be okay if we kept him. Okay. But is there something else this team can do in this free agency right here? This allotted time till August 3rd that will tell me that by keeping Skubal, then what else can we do? Right? What else can we do? What else can this team do? Will they go out and get a bat? Is there a player? I'm asking you this question. Is there a player out there right now that would change the trajectory of this team in this free agency right now that you say, okay, I'm going to ride out this Skubal situation, and we're like, okay, I can get down with that. But what else are you going to do? Because we are talking about a guy who only plays certain amount of games. I want to see somebody who's going to make a drastic impact in the second half of the season that everybody can get on board. We can't have another month of May. My 95-year-old grandma was at my son's game this week, and she said, you know what? If we could just wipe the month of May out, this team would be the talk of the town. She's not wrong. She's
Yeah.
not
I
wrong at
mean,
all.
and,
But
and I
what
know,
could this team do in the second half of this season that gets
stay
everybody
healthy.
on board?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. They stay healthy. They have every chance that anyone else has in making the playoffs and making a run. Like, they're pitching. Valdez comes back soon. Like, that's not a bad 1-2 to go into the playoffs. And Skubal, Valdez, Mize, like, Flaherty. Like, that's not a bad fucking look. Like, that's not easy to beat. And obviously health and stuff like that. But, like your grandma said, same thing. All the talk about the Yankees, like, oh my God, they've fallen off a cliff. They have the second best record in the AL. They're 3 games out of first place. So with all the disasters that happen, same thing. If you take away June,
Yeah,
out,
yeah, that's a good point.
it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's so,
But
like,
that's baseball. But that's
yes, and
baseball
that's,
too. She knows that. I mean, she's
yeah.
been a lifelong Tigers fan. I mean, it's
Now,
crazy this woman's
the
knowledge of
worst
baseball.
thing
But
that can happen for the Tigers is they go cold in August, and then the city
what about
is
okay?
flipping out because
I
then
yeah.
you're out of the playoff race and you didn't get anything for Skubal. Like, like,
What about depth? What about depth to protect us from injury? Like creating more depth. Like is
I mean,
that like
you could
a
always
farce, a fantasy? Like what is that? Like
you could always use depth. I mean, they do, obviously you can always use depth. I don't know particularly what the Tigers need per se.
right.
I mean, I watch some
But
games.
you're
I
my
don't
baseball savant. If I can't bounce
No,
these ideas off
I mean,
you, who am I going to ask?
I I just feel like I think the Tigers are a good team if they're healthy. Like, that's it. And,
Fair
like,
enough.
right now, I think it's the same thing with the Yankees. Like, Judge is not just a player, he's also a presence. Um, so I feel like when he gets back in the lineup, that things will change a little bit with the momentum and, like, I mean, listen, they ended the break winning 4 in a row. Now they get a week off. They're also gonna get Max Fried back next week. Rodon will probably be back the following week. So then our entire pitching staff is back. And then Judge gets reimaged this week to see, if how it healed or whatever, and then he comes back in the beginning of August. So like they the break is great. They still have another couple weeks they have to get through. They have the Dodgers when they come off the break. It's terrible. Um,
Right.
but like they have another couple weeks to get through to try to play a little bit above 500 before they're fully healthy. Like if this was going on with a fully healthy team, yeah, I would say that like, the fucking wheels are falling off. But like,
Right.
I don't I'm not that concerned. It's again, like you said, super long season. They can. It's very easy for the Tigers to go on a 10-game win streak. They just won 7 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. They looked great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited.
So
It just
I mean,
like
they lost. I think they lost the last 2. So I think they went like 2-8 or 8-2 in their last 10 or something like
yeah,
that.
something
Seven
along
and
those lines.
three, 7-3 maybe. But like I don't know. I don't see a problem there. So you're going to go 8-2 in your last 10 and then ask me what do they need to be better? I don't know. Like, like that's a tough question.
I guess it's
You know,
coming from somebody who's constantly watching this
yeah.
team up and down, up and down. How do we stay consistent? How do we avoid situations? It's hard to say because
It
you're going through it right now,
and
but in June, but how do you avoid
it's
the month
also
of May?
it's also it's a long season and it's tough to stay consistent in general.
Fair.
You're gonna hit the lows, I'm hoping that it's over. Okay, so that was the month of June for the Yankees. We're not gonna see that again. Like, like keep it moving, win some fucking games, and keep it moving. Now, you know, it's just what we're gonna see what fucking shakes up in the next 2 weeks at trade deadline. I know that, a lot of the Yanks are probably gonna go after a catcher. Um, I don't know. They're talking about Jeffers. They're talking about the kid from the Rockies. I don't know. I don't know what's
Right.
really going to happen. I think that they go after someone like a Mason Miller, maybe if he's on the block, some kind of like
Right.
lights out closer. Um,
But I like at the end of the day, we'll both agree on this. This All-Star break is much needed for both of our teams,
yeah,
drastically.
yeah.
Yeah,
If I was a fan of, who I would be most pissed off at the break?
Red Sox fans.
Yeah, you just won 9 in a row. You gotta take a
I knew
week
that
off.
was coming.
You gotta take a week off now.
Had dinner with Nolan on Saturday. He's
Yes,
happy man right now. He's a
at the
happy
sign of
man
the beef carver, right?
at the sign of his favorite place. All right, moving on. We don't normally talk about this, but we have to talk about it. And I'm not, by any stretch, I'm not a big UFC guy. However, the Conor McGregor thing this weekend was insane. And there's a lot of controversy about it. But I'm going to start this out like this. Fred, let me ask you this. Who had a better showing? Conor McGregor on Saturday night or Aaron Rodgers with the Jets?
Yeah, I think that's a valid question. Both were highly anticipated. I think the bigger disappointment out of those 2, to be honest with you, I think it was Aaron Rodgers. I think that was a bigger disappointment. And let me tell you why. Because Connor hasn't fought in 5 years. Um, First time back in the octagon in 5 years. I mean, Rodgers coming down the tunnel with that fucking flag and stuff, dude, that
Well,
place. Listen, and you know me, I got friends that are Jet fans. Like, like these guys, they were they were booking tickets to the Super Bowl already.
well, I'll be fully transparent. I believe I've said it on here before. Like, I watched Hard Knocks on HBO, the Jets series, like with Rodgers, and like listening to him like talk to these young receivers, and I'm in like after like the episode, and I kind of like look at myself and I'm like, am I starting to become an Aaron Rodgers fan? And like what's happening to me? And you know my feeling of Aaron Rodgers, you know my feeling of the Green Bay Packers. I literally watched him gut me open with no time on the clock to beat us. And I'm watching this thing and I'm starting to get bought in. I'm just like, am I becoming a Jets fan? These clowns at HBO are just tugging at the heartstring. And then to see what happened, and right, I even got the chills when you even talked about the
Dude,
flag, and then it's like, what just
when
happened?
when he was
Wild.
when he was coming out of that fucking tunnel, dude. I mean, listen, there were people texting me like as that was going down. I'm telling you, and I'm not kidding. There were people booking hotels for the fucking Super Bowl that were Jet
Yeah.
fans. Like, and then to go down like that was, I mean, outside of being a Jet fan, was, I mean, it was it was funny, I guess, but not the injury itself.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're
Um,
saying.
so I
I
think
think
that
what you're trying to say is it's very Jets-esque how it went
is
down.
very Jetsesque. Now,
Yeah.
the Conor McGregor thing was just like,
Yeah, let's
I
talk
was
about it.
texting people after it had happened. So I was up, I'm texting people, um, and I was just like, that was fucking trash. Now, he's getting surgery and says he's gonna fight again. And I'm like, dude,
Well, he has a contract.
he has
My
one.
understanding is he has a contract
Yeah,
for 2 fights, one obviously Saturday and one
yeah.
more.
He's got one left. But like, cut the guy loose, let him go box Jake Paul. Like, seriously. You want to get
Because
the
Jake Paul's already trolling him online. Did you see
but
that?
But he already tried to set that up already. But like, if you want the bag and you want it to be like something that's not there's not too much integrity in the sport, go box Jake Paul. Like,
Isn't Jake Paul drastically bigger, taller than
yeah,
Conor McGregor?
but you know what? Who cares? It's not
Right,
like sanctioned, and it's like it doesn't really mean nothing, right?
right.
But like to make your comeback and headline, you know, the USC event, and then that have listen, I'm not saying the dude ain't injured, but I'm saying that
Well,
he's in his 30s and he's at the end of his career and he hasn't fought in 5 years. That's what I'm saying.
well, well, I guess the question is like I don't think by any question is he or is he not injured? 100% he's injured. I think the question that everybody's wondering is if was he injured prior to? There's a lot of things online that could be misconstrued. The place that where he went to for like therapy, quote unquote, had a doctor in the same facility. They're saying that's actually where he went. They're starting to analyze the way he walked into the stadium, how he put his shoe on, all these various things that lead to believe like if he was hurt like that, the repercussions of he just doesn't get paid, they push it off. It's like a year from now because it's an ACL situation. Did he basically hoodwink the UFC to get his money?
I mean, that I guess that's the biggest thing is was he injured before going in? Did he know or does anyone know? I thought he was a little.
So you're
I don't
saying
know.
prior to watching the actual fight, everything coming up to it, you kind of were like, wait, something's not right.
But so, like, if he was injured before that, so then he planned that kick, right, to make it look like he blew his ACL, like, like, that's deep shit, like,
Well,
um
okay, so that seems a bit extravagant. What I think may have happened is he was injured He knew he was injured,
Went for
and
the
it
kill.
just got, and it was too much for him. Like
Yeah.
he hid it. There's no doubt about it. 100%. I'm wholeheartedly believe that he hid the injury, and then it got fully exposed within the first 30 seconds. He got the bag and ran. That's plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, he did well. For a minute,
30 mil?
I think he got 15 before bonus. So,
Okay. No.
whatever
All right.
but still, I
Yeah.
mean, not a
I
bad
can't
gig.
see him. Not a bad gig at all. I would have went in there for 30 seconds for 15 mil and
Yeah,
took
and like,
a torn ACL.
yeah, he took a couple shots to the face, but like Holloway knew something was wrong, so he was like looking to the ref to like ask him if he was okay
Right.
before he called it and before he let him up. Like, because I think Holloway was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Right.
So I mean, the two most anticipated fights, that one and Patty, the one before that was 50 seconds. So like
Right.
the two
Basically
most
just dragged him into submission.
yeah, the two most anticipated fights were those two. Now I'm okay with the Patty fight because they scrapped and he choked him out. Like,
No.
but the Conor McGregor fight, I'm just like, it's like you get to a point where you're just like, I'm not going to watch that again. And then in a year from now, next summer, you see that Conor McGregor is going to fight again, and you're going to tune in anyway. So, like, the guy puts asses in seats. I mean, like, he's
100%.
obviously a
And that's why
draw.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, love him or
like
hate him, he's a draw for sure.
people say the same shit about the Jake Paul stuff. Like, every fight that was going on, they're like, "Dude, I'm done with this. I'm not gonna watch him fight some washed up UFC guys." And then you still go watch it anyway and then complain about it. So, like, and especially with the services nowadays, no one's paying for this shit. I mean,
Yeah.
this one
Yeah.
this
Got
was
Paramount.
on this was on Paramount. So, but, like, it was just I don't know. It was just I can't see how anybody can be excited moving forward. Like, I just think that Dana White should cut him loose and be like, you don't have to fulfill the last fucking fight. Because, like, if somebody gets injured, like, and stuff like that, and they can't fight, it's not like, "Oh, well, you still owe me a fight." No, you don't. I
Yeah.
think he would have to retire, though, officially, to get out of that.
Right.
But, like, cut the fucking dude loose and just let it go, man. I mean, not being in the octagon for 5 years and, like, getting into your mid fucking 30s, like, I don't know.
It's
That
crazy.
doesn't even excite me.
No. All right. Last but not least, I wanted to at least just touch base on this is they come out. I know how you feel about the preseason rankings in the NFL, right? But they have to have some sort of reason as to why these rankings are the way they are, right? And I'm really struggling with the ranking. And you had said, you made your comment about the Lions, but I'm struggling with this. So number one, they have the Rams at number one. Understandable. They've made some really good offseason moves. The acquisition of Myles Garrett, Matt Stafford coming off his MVP career or MVP season. Obviously, you have the Eagles, you have the Seahawks, you got the Buffalo Bills, you have the Ravens, and then number 6 on that list is my Detroit Lions. Where I have a problem at this point is how does a team who is last in their division, finish the season last in their division, fails to make the playoffs, and in my opinion, this is why I'm bringing this up, and in my opinion, really hasn't done anything in the offseason to say, we didn't pick up a Myles Garrett. We didn't pick up somebody who's going to make a drastic change. We filled necessary holes with young players, and we are the highest ranked NFC North team on this list. Now, the next NFC North team is number 17 is the Chicago Bears. And then I don't even see. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Number 10 is the Packers. So you're telling me that after the Chicago beats Green Bay in the playoffs, they, I think they're, I don't know. I think they're downplaying the ability of the Chicago Bears, and I think they're overinflating the Lions. What's your thought on this? And I believe that puts you as a Steelers fan 19,
Yeah.
which I think is kind of high.
No, I listen. I don't. 19 is like, listen. The Steelers are 9-7, knocked out in the first round. Like that, I can tell you that right now. So
That's you already know how the season's going to go.
you could rank them in the top 10 or the bottom 10. That 9-7. You know, if Rodgers stays healthy, 9-8, they get knocked out in the first round. Like like it is what it is. And then we move on. As for the Lions, a lot of this goes into something else that I can't stand, which is strength of schedule. So everyone is saying how the Lions now, because of last season, so they have the easiest schedule
Easier.
in the I believe it's one of the easiest in the NFL, which makes 0 sense, because tell me that at the end of the year. Don't speculate that just because they're playing teams that had a bad year, because you play the same position in the other little divisions that you play, like you come in fourth, you play the fourth place team. So, but that means absolutely nothing to me. So, like, that's one of the reasons why they're ranking them higher as well, because they think that
Okay.
they
Okay.
have.
So the reason is because they have an easier schedule.
That's what they're. That's what I believe is most of. Like, listen, did the did the Lions play under expectations last year? Yes, that
Yes.
also. Like, should they have ended up last in their division? No, they shouldn't have. They had an off year, and that's another thing. So, like, now them bouncing back and playing to reality, I think that's one thing that bumps them back up. And then the fact of this whole, oh, well, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. It's like, dude, that's so dumb. But like that takes into effect also with the rankings. So
Well,
I
to
think
your
that
point, you know what? To your point, it's like you say, well, an easier schedule. Well, you play the Giants. This is a perfect example of a team that
yes,
underperformed
yeah.
last year, who
Like,
now
do you
has
want to play the
arguably one of.
Giants?
No,
Okay.
that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah,
You just picked up the one of the best head coaches in the entire league.
yeah.
You have a young quarterback who didn't get a chance to, you have a running back who showed briefly that he could probably be a top 10, top 15 running back in the league if he stays healthy. Like, no, I don't want to play the
But
Giants. And do
and
you
that's what I mean.
consider
It's
that an
like
easy game for the
they
Lions?
they go on record, and it's like that makes no sense to me. So like you're ranking people on last year's records, and I guess they're
Well,
taking into effect like some acquisitions, like
yeah,
obviously I would think,
yeah,
but like it's really like with the Lions, they didn't make any crazy moves. So you're going basically on judging them against teams with bad records. Like like it's like
yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Lions won't win the North. I'm not saying that they're not a top 10 team.
You You did
I
say
just
the Lions. I hit you with that question right at the beginning, and you said they
no
will
no
not win.
no, I don't think so. I don't think they will. I'm not saying they can't. Like,
Okay,
like
fair, fair,
it's
fair.
not going to surprise anybody if they win the North.
No,
If they end up
no.
in the playoffs, in the top, like in the whole league with the record in the top 10, I don't think that's going to surprise anybody either. So like I don't think there's going to be a problem. The problem is, and I said this to you last year and the year before, the division's getting harder. Like the window closed on just sweeping the division. That's not
Yeah,
happening. That was
yeah,
3 seasons ago, where you didn't have to worry about your division. Now you have
yeah.
to
You didn't
worry
have to
about
worry about.
every
Yeah,
divisional game.
yeah. Yeah.
There is
Now
no
we have
like,
a very good Jordan Love. We have a very good Caleb Williams. Obviously, the quarterback situation in Minnesota isn't the best, but that didn't matter to us because we lost to them, right?
yeah,
Shit, Jameis Winston beat us from the Giants, you know. So I don't know. I'm excited. Although this is a point in the summer here in Michigan where you start to get excited for football season, but then you realize, oh shit, that means it's the end of the summer. So it's
yeah, I
you
hated
know
that. Like
yeah,
it.
my birthday is at July 30th, and I always say that once my birthday hits, the summer's over. Like
Well, and
August goes by too fast, and then we're automatically right into preseason football, and then football season starts,
I
and
have
it's
this.
fun.
I have the opposite feeling with baseball season. When people start reporting to camp in February and spring training starts, warmer weather is coming. Like
Yeah,
like so like the anticipation for baseball season makes it even better. Everyone anticipates the start of the NFL season. Everyone loves opening weekend, kickoff, like, everyone does. But like you said, in the back of your mind, you're like, it's just getting colder. Like, it's
right.
here,
Yeah, right.
not
All
here.
right. Well, not here because I'm built for San Diego weather. All right, that's it for this week. Tune in Friday. We're going to be watching the movie The Invite on Couch Critics.
Yeah,
Have you watched it yet? Have you went?
I have not. I think I was going to go Wednesday.
Okay.
Um, have not watched it, but I'm anticipating it. It looks,
No,
I think it's going to be good.
I think
I
it's gonna
like,
be good too. No, Nolan
yeah,
saw it. He wouldn't, and he would not. He saw it Saturday afternoon. Would not talk about it at all at dinner, which is totally understandable and respectable. In fact, I was like, "How'd you like it?" And then I stopped myself, and he's like, "I'm not. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing with this. This is neither the time nor the place." And I respect that. So I think I might go tomorrow to take
okay,
advantage of the free popcorn because I have
yeah.
Tuesday open now that Dax's baseball is done. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Fred, you have a great week. I'll see you on Friday, my friend.